Hi everyone, this is Betsy's Look, and I am setting up for a help session here. It's going to be a video session for Module 2. Had a little bit of trouble earlier in the day doing it as a live session, but I wanted to get everything recorded for you. So going to walk through and hopefully this will be helpful. So let's get started. Okay, so today we're working on Module 2. What I want to go over for us today is the things that are on the screen here. For extra credit, you're going to have a couple options for working with these video sessions. If you're able to attend a live session and participate actively in that by asking questions, you'll be able to get extra credit. Second way, if you can't get to the live session or for some reason I need to do it as a recorded session, you'll be able to watch that video and then I'll post some questions that you just need to answer those questions, upload those, and you'll be able to get credit for watching and answering. So today we're going to talk about Module 2. I'm going to go into Blackboard and just walk through what we're working on. So make sure there's the directions are clear for that. And then I will talk a bit about our topic of homelessness and bring you in with some information about how this topic is impacting our local community for Foresight Tech. So let's go first to look at Blackboard. So I'm going to switch my screens over. And you'll first see us go a little bit of it on screen. And I'm going to that up, so you're now seeing my Blackboard screen. And let's pull up and start right on the announcement page. So this is what you're probably seeing when you begin your course. We'll go over here to our Learning Modules button and scroll down to where we are on Module 2. You'll see the week, the tasks and the due date, and what specific things need to get turned in that week. Clicking on Module 2, we're starting to focus on how we establish rapport with our clients. So our main things we're working on is strategies for doing that as a professional, and start looking at how we do this when we're working as a case manager. You're going to be building a caseload. Only one assignment, it's this casework assignment. You have a folder, I'll open that up, and you'll see some videos that will help orientate you to the topic that we're working on. So they're short 6, 3, 8-minute videos that will help orientate you to the topic. Going on down, this is where you're going to post your assignment. Right here are the directions that I'll walk through. And to complete this assignment, you're going to be using this folder that has a series of videos. So what will you do? To begin, you're going to imagine that you're a case manager and you have 5 consumers that have been added to your caseload. So to find those, you're going to go right down here to the videos, and there are your 5 videos. So to meet them, you're going to click on each of those. They're going to tell a brief story. These are videos of actual persons that across the country that at that time they were videotaped, they were experiencing homelessness. From your videos, you're going to imagine that these were the directions that your supervisor gave you. That you were to go out and meet your caseload, introduce yourself to them, talk to them so they knew who you were as a case manager. You'd be offering your beginning assistance, and then you would tell your case manager or your supervisor of your initial impressions. How we're going to assess how you've done on that is the next steps. You're going to post for me in a list. You first tell me the first consumer you worked with. You're going to share, this is word by word, how you introduced yourself, how you explained what a case manager does. So think of this as like a movie script, and you're going to tell me what you said. Your introduction will be similar for each consumer, but I'm going to expect that there's a bit individualized when you're talking to different people. So you still will show me that word for each individual. You'll talk to me then about the steps you would do to build rapport and show respect. So pull from your other classes here, things you've learned in your other human services classes about how you're going to build a connection with that specific consumer. And then you'll sum up in your last paragraph for that individual what your initial impression was. So you should, for 5 consumers, have 5 sections, and you can number them or give headings for each of those pieces. I'm going to be looking for these 4 things. Did you fully complete the assignment? Did you apply the knowledge that we're working on in this module? Did you show some skills for working with the consumers, and were you professional through that? I'll use the grading rubric that is right down here, so you can open that up and you can see that I give points for each part of that. So if I felt you did excellent and fully completed the assignment, you'll get 3 points. If you're missing some pieces but did a good chunk of it, that's 2. If there was really weak on how you've completed it, you'll only be able to get 1 point. And you'll see that for each of those sections. All right, so that is Module 2. It's a casework assignment. You use the videos. You see how we're going to grade it. You post it then right here in this folder by creating a journal entry, and your choice whether you're typing that all out right here or whether you wanted to save it in a separate file and upload it. All right. So we're going to go back to our slideshow now. That walked us through our Module 2, but I want to talk a little bit more now about this topic of homelessness. And these slides, I need to thank a group of students that created these in April 2017. So they pulled together this information that I'm using here. I think they did an excellent job, and I want to pass their work on. We have a definition that we look at of what is homelessness, and these can be defined by all of these things you'll see on this slide about lacking housing, primary residency, or in transitional housing, or without a permanent house. They may be on the streets, but they also may be in some other structure or situation. Why may they not all be in shelters? We've got a whole lot of reasons why they may not be feeling safe or comfortable or are ineligible for being able to live in a night in a shelter. Shelters may be full. They may not be safe for their specific needs. They may feel themselves out of control or don't like the setting with the shelters. They may not feel comfortable if it's held in a place that's different than their religion. They may feel other reasons that they've been barred, or they've been told that they can't stay there because of illness or an addiction. And there's various things you can see from this list that may be discriminatory from them being able to use shelters. So it's a myth that there's a bed for everyone in our shelters. Lots of reasons why someone may experience homelessness. So the research showing, the interviews are showing that it may differ by genders or situations, but things that can come up are related to relationships. It may be related to addictions. It may be transitioning from another type of setting, such as a prison or a group home, or being discharged from a hospital, and sometimes health or trying to find safety are reasons that this occurs. Number of consequences that can make the situation even harsher. They may impact how someone is able to themselves stay safe. They may continue to exacerbate health issues. It may infect then their ongoing sense of self and their ability to regain stability. So we know there is an ongoing stigma related to homelessness, especially when we look at blaming the idea of blaming the victim, looking that it's a stigma and that for some reason someone that is homeless is at fault for that situation. We've been paying attention to this issue locally in a number of different ways, and we'll continue to look at this throughout this class. Here in Winston, this slide looks at a center called Veterans Helping Veterans Heal, which is a relatively new shelter that's specifically focusing on veterans. We've also taken some initiative to look at the volume of how this issue is affecting us right here in the Triad, looking at how housing and being able to access that, and looking at where decisions are made of who is going to be able to access affordable and safe and stable housing. So there are policies and politics related to how the issue may impact a specific community, and in North Carolina, in our setting, we're getting hit by that. Children are also impacted, so families, children, and how this number is continuing to see a peak happening or ongoing growth, so maybe not so much a peak, but it's still rising, or a significant number of the persons who are identified as homeless in our community include families and children. Employment is a significant piece of how we may as professionals be addressing or assisting someone move from being not able to secure their own shelter to being able to be independent. It's a myth that persons that are homeless are just lazy or don't want to work. That majority of persons are seeking employment or may be working but underemployed and not earning enough to be able to still maintain housing. As we had mentioned, the stigma related to homelessness can also impact how someone is able to feel about themselves, and it can be an isolating situation. So this slide represents that it can be the uncertainty in making survival decisions, and where that can feel like difficult to be asking for help or knowing how to make the next decisions. We have additional coexisting needs that can occur, so that the only problem is not the lack of shelter, but maybe limitations on getting proper treatment for mental health, not getting wraparound services or supports when moving from incarceration to being released, shifts when someone is moving from discharge from military. So a variety of things that it's a continuum, and sometimes the services overlap of what is needed. Mental health being one of those that can prevent people from being able to sustain these types of support networks that are needed to be able to stay safe, along with some of the stresses or the issues that cause the natural networks, such as families or friends, not being available. Other things that can rise are related to health care. So that lack of shelter, lack of access to nutritious food, exacerbate then a health condition, not having then reliable transportation or access to medications or the insurance to be able to then pay attention to one's health needs can also be additional needs that must be paid attention to when we're looking at assisting people who may be experiencing homelessness. So those were some of the key points or topics I wanted to highlight as you're working on Module 2 and as you continue to grow your caseload for this course. I hope this gave you some more insights. We're going to continue to look at this issue, and our upcoming help sessions will expand on this further. So if you're watching this as a recorded session, go ahead and check out the questions that are posed. Write your answers, upload those, and you'll get extra credit. Also, stay tuned. I'll be posting more announcements for more upcoming sessions that you'll be able to choose between participating in a live session or watching a new video. All right, well, that will wrap us up for today.